How's it going, my good friends? This project is kind of an intermezzo project where, at least for me, I'm in the midst of making the Scorso lathe video project thing. And I thought in the meanwhile, while I'm waiting for some parts to arrive, I'm gonna make a smaller project where I want to make a small carving knife. Of course, in Uri fashion, this project also took a bit longer than I expected, and I had to do some retries. So this is kind of the second blade that I'm making because of the first one didn't go so well. So I'm using O1 steel for this blade, and it's very friendly steel, especially for the home shop, and I like to use it very much because it's relatively easy to shape and it's very friendly when it comes to heat treating. And yeah, it's all around very, very nice steel to work with. So now the blade is ready for some heat treating, and this is O1 steel, so it's oil quenched. Now I like to determine when to quench the blade in the oil by its luminosity? Man, I cannot, I lost it. Anyway, when it kind of loses a shadow or becomes one solid silhouette of color is usually when I quench it in the oil, and that seemed to work for me pretty well. Now I just temper it with a small torch to get a straw color, and for this kind of blade it works pretty nicely. It's not the most accurate thing, but that shouldn't be too detrimental, I suppose. As you've noticed, I've went with a non-bevel style knife. Purely for aesthetic reasons, of course. No, I mean, I kinda screwed up the bevel, so I'm going for this kind of look. What am I, a knife maker? That actually sarcastically implies that I am a knife maker. No, the answer is no, I am not. I am not, as you can tell by this miraculous job. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm probably gonna buff it out and make all the scratches go away. But for now, I think it looks pretty good, and I will move on to the handle before I do any additional shaping and sanding. So for the handle, I've decided to go with some hard maple. Now, as the name implies, it's a very, very hard wood, and it really blunts the tool, and it's very difficult to work with. But it's such a beautiful wood that it's worth the work. The other problem with the hard maple, or in maple in general, is that because it's such a light wood, it tends to take a lot of dirt, and it loses its nice sheen very, very quickly. And especially that my bench is kind of a mixture of metal and woodworking, so that's definitely a challenge for me to keep it nice and clean. Now, weirdly enough, a lathe at this point would be very, very handy for this handle. So I've made myself kind of a template to try and make things more consistent and square. So in that point I thought I was done with at least the wooden portion of the handle, but it looked a bit stale to me. I don't know if it's the right word, but that's the word I'm going to use. So I decided to put some grooves and notches to give some decorative elements. Almost in every project that I make, there is this point where I try to take it another level, and I feel like 50% of the time I make it worse. So I was very patient, and I took my time to try to make the alterations proper and make the handle look a little bit more dynamic and interesting. So usually I really like to use the amber shellac, but for maple I found that the blonde one is actually a bit more complementary to the wood. Maple is very bright wood, so I want to keep that while still having a little bit of a warm hue to it. So moving on to the brass fittings on the handle, which will go on either side of the wooden piece. And as you can see, I finally got some layout fluid. Now what I'm using is not Dicom, it's I think it's called the Evian, and this is an engraving / jeweler's layout fluid. And there's nothing special about it, I just like the color, and that's why I bought this one. So in just a second, you see some fantastic work holding. Yeah, it wasn't the brightest idea, but nothing too bad happened. So when it comes to epoxy, I always had a bad time with it. I never liked using it, and I always try to find a way to attach things in a more mechanical manner. But in this particular knife, I felt like epoxy would be the right way to go. And I think all in all, it worked out really nice for this knife. I've kind of messed up with the pin on the top. It went all the way inside. But hopefully, we still have enough material to get to the bottom of this, I suppose. So again, normally I would like to have the blade removable from the handle. But yeah, for this project I decided I would just glue everything together and make it a nice and solid piece. So here I'm applying a few more coats of shellac, and later on I put a few coats of lacquer just to make it nice and extra shiny. Hello there. So for sharpening, I really love using the 1000, 6000 grit waterstone, and I follow it up with some stropping with this green compound. Alright, so let's give it a quick paper test, and it's alright. It shears a little bit, I feel. But it's good, it's good. It's nice. It is sharp, that's for sure. So yeah, let's try this knife out, do some carving, cutting, performing bris and all that fun stuff, and see how it works. That looks nice. Okay, now for real. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed this little knife project. I still have a lot to learn in making knives, especially when it comes to bevels and, well, the knife itself, I suppose. But I'm quite happy with this one, and probably I will use it to open packages more than anything. But yeah, that was quite a nice project, and now I can go back to the scroll saw lathe kind of thing that hopefully I can finish this up. And so yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you real soon. Well then.